Here we go. Welcome back to day 8 of the 30-day journey into sound. That sounds much better. So my name is Rob Zaremba. I'm the admin of the group. Welcome to all new members. If this is your first time chiming in, checking out the video, what we're doing here in the group is part of something I've done since the beginning of the group. When I formed the group back in 2016, I began a 30-day meditation challenge. I issued a challenge to all my friends on Facebook. I said, hey, come on over to this group. I'm going to do a 30-day meditation challenge. I'm going to come on and meditate every day. And, I'll show you how I meditate. Join in, try the meditation technique. And it was a lot of fun. And it was very successful. And so the group evolved from that. I changed the name to Meditation and Mindfulness. And as an effort to do my part, do my service as a fellow meditator in the meditation community, it's a good idea to share meditation with our friends, with our family, with the world. And so as a meditation teacher, as a meditation coach, I am obliged, I am committed to helping you learn how to meditate. So, what the current 30-day meditation challenge is all about is learning how to meditate to music. Now, there's a lot of different approaches to using music while you meditate. A lot of people put music on in the background and just sort of meditate apart from the music, playing the music and not really interacting with the music per se. In this particular meditation I want to share with you, it's all about interacting with the music in a way that is very direct. When the music is being played, you'll simply listen deeply to the music. And by listening deeply and completely to the music, you will take your attention, which is normally scattered amongst thought, normally scattered amongst memory, projection, images of the mind. Our attention, our awareness, our consciousness is ever present. It's always there, no matter what. It never changes. It's completely still. And yet, all the appearances, all the things that are appearing within the mind, all the things that are appearing in front of our consciousness, those are the things that always change. We walk into a new room, and the room has changed. But we're still the same. We go outside of the room, and we see something different. But we're still the same. So in the same way, thoughts, experiences, appearances, all changes of all sorts, even our body, even who we believe ourselves to be, is in a constant state of change. But the awareness behind all those things, the consciousness, doesn't change. It is ever present, eternal, and always stays the same. Meaning that it's reliable. It's the one thing that doesn't change. Everything else changes. Everything else has to go. Everything else is impermanent. So consciousness is the one thing that is permanent. And it's the one thing that you can rely on to always be there. And if you go back and you examine every moment within your life, you'll see that you were aware of every moment. Even though you've changed, even though your experiences have changed, your thoughts have changed, your physical surrounding environment, the people you interact with, etc., has all changed, there's something that hasn't changed. So that's the thing that we want to try to get in touch with, is that permanent nature within all things, that eternal presence, ever present, eternal. And this is the consciousness. This is higher consciousness. So whatever mood you're in, whatever thoughts you're thinking, whatever experiences are going on in your life, when you sit down to meditate, we attempt to get back in touch with that real part of ourselves, with that permanent part, that eternal consciousness within the core of our being, within the heart. So, when we sit down and meditate to music in this way, you'll simply listen to the music with an unbroken attention. Normally, our attention is broken up. It's fragmented into many, many pieces. And it's scattered, constantly bouncing around from thought to thought, from memory to rehearsal to narration to, repeating that song on the radio, what have you, to worry, to concern, to thinking about your loved one, or, whatever it might be. The mind is in a constant state of activity, normally. And so what we seek to do is stop focusing on all that activity. That activity of the mind is simply the distraction that is getting in the way of having that reunion with the truth of ourselves. That distraction of the mind, of the activity of the mind, is what's interfering. It's the separation that we are experiencing. It's the separation of us. It's the separation of physical objects. It's the separation of everything. It's happening within the full body-mind apparatus, including the senses, the thoughts. So when we sit down to meditate, what we're doing is we're taking a deep dive into the center of ourselves, the core of our being, into the awareness. When I close my eyes, I'm aware. What are we aware of? When I open my eyes, I'm aware of something different. My awareness has transferred to my eyes. Now I'm looking out into the world, and I'm viewing the world through my sense organs, my eyes. When I sit and listen to the music, I am focusing solely on hearing and using the sense of listening through my ears in an attempt to bring my attention to a single focus. What we will discover through this process is that our attention has a tendency to wander back to its habitual ways, its tendencies. Tendencies are not just haphazard. They are created from repetition, from routine, from education indoctrination, from environmental interaction, stimuli. So our tendencies of the mind are to always be seeking something. The tendency of our mind, because we've been shown this, we've been taught this, we've been, it's been ground into us, ingrained into us, to always be seeking the next thing. Well, after this I'm going to do this, after that I'm going to do that, etc., etc., etc. And oh, I need this to feel better. Oh, I need to get this and I'll just be happy, right? And so we go in this incessant cycle of seeking, never realizing that the thing that will truly fulfill us is already here. It's already who we are. It's already inside us. But we've created this overlay. We've created this illusory identity, this illusion of identity, the name, the experiences associated with this name, identity, the taxes due when I sign my name on the tax form. This person seems very real, but I can assure you it's just an illusion. I am speaking to you through a language that you can understand if you understand English language, but I can assure you that this makes no sense. We've only agreed that it makes sense. So much of life that we see, all the forms within life, are mere illusions, and then that they're not real, they're not permanent, they dissolve back into the reality, which is pure consciousness. And so in meditation, we seek to dissolve back into the reality, which is pure consciousness, because our bodies, our minds, our identities, our thoughts, our illusions are nothing but shadows dancing on the wall. They don't last. They're a mere projection. The reality is the projector. The light source within is awareness, is consciousness, is being. Everything that is built upon that will be eventually washed away, melted away. And so this is death. In meditation, we seek a death of sorts. And don't be frightened, because we've died many times. Every time we sleep, each night, there's a certain death that occurs. There's a relinquishing of this world. There's a forgetting of this world. Now, of course, we may go into dream. We may have memories within the dream. And then we reawaken. We're reborn. And then the dream seems unreal. But is this just another dream? It's because so many of us have agreed on the world. We're all just followers. We follow along with the program. We go to school, we get the education, we do what we're told, and then we come out on the other end ready for work, or whatever. Fall in line. It's a production line. We are just copies, copying something. Is there anything that's really original out there? Well, in meditation, what we seek is to discover the answers to all this. And instead of listening to me, or listening to another meditation teacher, or someone that you find on YouTube or whatever for the answers, I think it's best to go and find your own answers. And maybe when you go and find your own answers within your meditation training, within your meditation practice, within your meditation, you'll find that these answers, these questions have been answered already. And you'll find that there are many traditions out there for spirituality, for discovering the truth, for the process known as the pathway to enlightenment. In our heart of hearts, we know what the truth is. We have a sense of what's real and what's not. But another part of ourselves, let's call it the ego, covers that and wants to be in control because it's afraid that it needs to go in order for the experience of truth to take place. And the ego doesn't want to die. It wants to defend all of its collection of experiences as me. This is who I am. I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of my accomplishments. All glory to me, says the ego. But when the ego is confronted with reality, it makes two choices, either one of fear or one of love. And in a sense, we all make that choice at every moment. When we make the choice of love, we have faith. We can surrender to whatever. We can surrender to what is. The experience, whether we're surrendering to our own death, whether we're surrendering to change in life, which in a sense is a death. Death is just a change. It's been a while, but We all remember it. And fear is a sense of holding back from change. Fear is a sense of the status quo. Staying the known path. Because the unknown can be scary. But we've gotten so familiar with the known. We stay on the island and we never swim much past the breakers. But beyond that island is a vast ocean. And that's truly what we are. Our core of consciousness is a vast ocean. Infinite. And so it takes a little bit of a trust. It takes a little bit of faith in order to go beyond the known, to go beyond the norm. And in our meditation, we do it little by little until we get the courage. And this is done through repetition, through practice, through training, just like anything in life. When we first, get that new job, or we first go to that new school, or we meet that new someone, there's always a sense of nervousness. There's always a sense of fear. There's always a sense of apprehension. Oh, what's it going to be like? Are we going to get along? Am I going to like this? Is it going to go well? Or whatever. We have all these, ideas. But then we go day after day and we get a sense for what the routine is, and we get familiar with it. And it's not so scary after a while, right? Well, it's very similar when you begin to meditate on a regular basis. Is that you'll go into the meditation session, and after a certain amount of time, whether it be weeks, months, perhaps even years, there'll become a familiarity with the process. You'll kind of reach a plateau, and you won't go beyond it unless you're willing to relinquish that fear, go beyond that plateau, have faith that it'll be okay. Because we've become so attached. This is the idea behind attachment. We're attached to who we are. We're attached to the things we've collected. We're attached to the thoughts we think. We're attached to the way that we view the world. We're attached to the people around us. We're attached to our toys and gadgets. And the meditation is a process of slowly detaching from all of these things, realizing that these are all just mere illusions that will fade in time, and that what we want to attach ourselves to is that ever-permanent essence of life, pure consciousness. And there's not a sense of us attaching to it, there's a sense of merging with it and becoming it, or you could say that there's a sense of dissolving into it and becoming it, because you really can't be separate and be one. That would be two. There would be a subject and an object, and that would be duality. And in meditation we seek to go beyond duality. Why? Why do we seek to go beyond duality? Because that's the truth. Duality is an illusion. It's an illusion of the ego. If I go within and I go really deep, what I'll see is that there's only one radiant emerging light of awareness. What happens is that radiant emerging light of awareness, which is all things, begins to believe in the identity filter, the I am, the name, the likes, the dislikes, the friends, the family, the language, the way, the communication experiences, all that comes together. And the light takes a back seat, and all of the things become the subject. Well, I am this. I am this because I like this. I am part of this group. I believe this, etc. And we're seeking fulfillment through this. It's like the dog chasing its tail. So, we seek meditation because we want to see if this thing works. And so, we're going to sit down and meditate here momentarily. Now, when we're meditating to music, let's see. There we go. When we're meditating to music, it's a very easy way to meditate because the music is continuous and it's ongoing and it's a continuous stream of sound. So when I sit down to meditate to the music, I will be simply listening. And there'll be initially an active listening to where the automatic tendencies of my attention, my mind will wander, and then I'll go back to redirecting my attention toward the music. Over time, after a couple songs, after 5 or 10 minutes, it'll be much easier to hold the attention on the music. When I'm able to hold my attention on the music, it becomes effortless. And then there is a merging with my awareness field and the music. And the music is a very easy way to do this because the music is continuous and it's ongoing. And so that's really it. The best way to learn is to practice. And so here we go. If you're new to this process and you just want to sit back and watch, then you can do that. If you want to kind of try for the first 2 or 3 songs just to sit and listen and see how it goes. The idea is that you don't just want to sit and space out. You want to actively keep returning your attention to the music. What this will do is that it will start to smooth out the rough edges of your mind. Your mind is like a sharp, let's say, saw right now. It's got a lot of rough edges. Let's say it's like a shape, or let's say it's like a piece of glass. Okay, we can understand this analogy. The piece of broken glass. Every time we meditate, we go into the ocean and the piece of glass gets tossed and turned in the sand, right? And the edges begin to become smooth. And so, similarly, your attention will begin to become smooth every time you go into the meditation process. So it's a process of smoothing the rough edges because it's the scattered, fragmented awareness that is restless, that is taking up all of our energy, and that is distracting us from living in the moment. Which is one of the best results you get from meditation, is being present, living in the moment, being mindful. And so let's smooth some of those rough edges out. Simply continue to return your attention back to the music. Okay, that's going to do it for today, my friends. Thank you for joining me, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.